This is it, you guys. Next month, October 2025, Porsche has announced they're ceasing production on all gas-powered 718 Caymans and Boxsters.
Hold up, that's fake news. Yes, the current 718 was killed off this month, but Porsche has planned for years to replace it with a silent and soulless sequel built under the pressure of government power and persuasion rather than passion. But they've recently had a case of strategic realignment. This is a 718 Cayman GT4 RS, the most unfiltered mid-engine street car Porsche has built since the Carrera GT. And since shooting this video 2 weeks ago, they've predictably warmed up to the idea the next generation should make some real noise, at least for the top models. To me, that means GT4 and RS. This is great news. So here I am, falling for the bait, driving what I thought might be the last combustion Cayman.
All right, GT4 RS. The car we never thought we were gonna get. I mean, 10 years ago, this was a pipe dream, but it's kind of the final swan song of the 718 before, allegedly, until further notice, they're going to go all electric, which we'll see how long that lasts, but. 493 horsepower, 331 pound-feet of torque. It's a 4-liter naturally aspirated flat six. It's a GT3 engine. They finally stuffed the GT3 engine into the Cayman. Now, the RS version of the Cayman, a car that adds a ton to the Cayman GT4 experience, which is already a fairly hardcore vehicle, different suspension from the standard car. But the biggest complaint with that car, in my opinion, well, there's two. The one is lack of torque, and the second is the long gearing. They kind of go hand in hand, because if you shorten the gearing, you shorten the final drive, you're going to feel more torque. So they've solved that here. This has effectively the same gearing as the GT3, but on top of that, the final drive ratio is higher. So even shorter gearing and a butt ton of power. A PDK transmission, dual clutch transmission that will shift before you even think about it. Let's see if we can do launch control. That is insane. A little bit of wheel spin off the line, but it's got such a different tone than the 4.5-liter demand car I drove recently. Obviously, that car was a manual, so you have a little bit of time to breathe.
The only difference between this and the GT3 engine is the carbon intake. It feels like something the fourth owner of a GT4 would drum up in his garage after hours, and I love that. The rest of the RS package isn't nearly as alien. Big downforce, 79 more horsepower than a GT4, an RS-specific shock setup with modified spring and anti-roll bar rates, NACA ducts to cool those 6-piston brakes through the carbon hood, and of course lightweight rear glass and less insulation. An added flex is the lightweight magnesium wheels and carbon ceramics from the Weissach package too. Oh, and it's paint to sample maritime blue for you Porsche nerds.
Of course, this car is not sold with a manual transmission. You have to get a GTS 4-liter. If you want a new one, they don't sell the normal GT4 anymore. No rear steer. It does have an LSD, a mechanical LSD in the back, and it has Porsche's brake-based torque vectoring, so the resonance of that engine, it's so high-pitched. It's almost almost too loud. Like all these little intricate moments you get, and they're all so very different from each other. There we go. All the vibrations coming through. I mean, the seat, but also the gas pedal feels different at whatever RPM you're at. Like the vibrations are distinct at what RPM. It's coming through the steering wheel too. I mean, noticeably more rigid than a GT4. Borderline too stiff. It is definitely stiff. Now the carbon bucket seats don't help. They are comfortable. And this one has an aftermarket exhaust, so no, this is not factory, like how this car would sound out of the gate. It is incredibly drony. It's the one thing about this exhaust. I don't know in factory form if that's the case. This is, I mean, it's undrivable at low speeds. The owner of this car drives it on track, so that's understandable. The intake noise is insane. The intake is the opening of the throttle bodies that's not a sound I've ever heard before. That's new and novel, and here in 2025 it's more difficult to do that than ever before.
Especially at this price point. $1 million hypercars can take risks with innovation, but Porsche is nothing without this NA flat 6. So where do they go from here? The 911 Turbo and its electric turbos are destroying lag and pushing that car's agenda exactly where we want it to go. RS buyers don't have to deal with turbos, and I've never met one who's quoted 0 to 60 times at Cars and Coffee. What they're here for are those intakes and the long-term hearing loss that will become a badge of honor 20 years down the road. So perhaps next generation Porsche could take notes from the Valkyrie? Unlikely. It doesn't need more power, it doesn't need more downforce, it's a perfectly sized street car that wants to be driven on track, not a track car that punishes you for driving on the street. We know a GT4 RS EV is not the answer, but I still don't know what is.
Much better steering than the 981 Cayman GT4. You know, it's still got that sharp Porsche steering that feels great, but there's just a little bit more confidence in your initial direction change here. And the brakes, just a short, firm brake pedal. I mean, the car just gets better the faster you go. And it's more accessible here on the street. That's what I was expecting. The GT3 RS is such a substantial car and a little bit intimidating because it encourages you to push and push and push. And by the time you're to the point where you can kind of feel what the rear end's really doing, when you've got the tires loaded up, you're going so fast. Whereas here with the close gearing, you can play in first, second, third gear, maybe fourth, on a back road like this. You're going fast, but it's just a lower threshold of speed. The sound is insane though. Wow, okay, yeah, there's a kick at 7,000. There's a noticeable shove of power right there. Bro. The composure at speed. is ridiculous. That last 1,000 RPM, that 8,000 to 9,000 RPM is what you're paying $300,000 for. It's 8,000 to 9,000 RPM. That's exactly where all your money's going. The aero, it's, you know, Andreas Proninger has said this himself. They didn't go all out with this car. They didn't try to overcomplicate it to the point of trying to compete with the GT3 RS. That was not the goal here, nor should it have been. This is a hardcore driver's car. Even though it doesn't have a manual, it's a track day car. Would I want to road trip this? No. That's what the GT3 Touring is for. Even though I've heard from some people who have driven that car that even that car is too stiff. Now, it's a stiff car, but, you know, what do you expect? Wants to rotate. It's so smooth. There is no perceptible, like, okay, the load's on the left wheels and then it's on the right. There's no, like, that kind of no man's land where you feel it unload and then load back up on the other side. There's none of that. It's like, it's just kind of rocking on this pendulum. So smooth. Oh, wow. Wow, that's some grip. Just have more and more and more grip to go. It's so insane. The 4.5 liter, you could drive it any way you wanted. This one, you still need to just be high up in the rev band. You still have to work for the revs though, even with the short gearing. The 4.5 liter demand car has a ton more torque, has a lot noticeable amount of torque, more than this, around 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, but you can still kind of, you know, 4,000 RPM, you've got enough torque, and of course with the throttle you've got a ton of feedback, just direct throttle response. It's the best. I mean, if you were expecting anything that was majorly negative about this car to come out of my mouth today, that's not gonna happen. They've got the recipe so incredibly dialed. Bro, you cannot even comprehend the 8,000 to 9,000 RPM. Bro. That's so dumb. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch that little clip of me saying, bro, you can't even comprehend 8,000 to 9,000 RPM. And I'm gonna be like, that was such a dumb comment. Why did you say that? No. Video does not do this car justice, so it is what it is. Perfect steering wheel, perfect transmission, perfect engine, and it's just in a smaller, more loose package than a GT3 RS. Obviously less, I don't even know if you can hear me right now, less mechanical grip than a GT4 RS, but they were really able to, with this car in the GT division, just have a little bit of fun and make it a little bit more playful without the pressure
of lap times. The GT4 RS is the second sibling. There's less pressure to break boundaries, set records, and perform as the spokesperson of the brand. That's a gift.
All right, that's it, GT4 RS. Now, I'm still a little bit nervous that this might actually be the last naturally aspirated Cayman that Porsche builds. Now, I have to pose you guys this question before we go, because this has been kind of floating in my mind. Would you be offended if Porsche came out with the next generation GT3 and GT4 cars with a plug-in hybrid system, effectively something that would allow you to drive, you know, 7 to 10 miles on electric only, something that would assist with the torque down low, and then just give you that additional efficiency that Porsche requires to just continue building these naturally aspirated cars? I see that as a solution. If Lamborghini can do it with the Revuelto, then I don't see it being so far-fetched. I think that'll be the key. Yes, it will add weight and stuff like that, but I just think it's better than going all electric. I don't know what you guys think. It's so enjoyable though to be a car person in this time because things are changing quickly and the future is so incredibly uncertain. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Gotta thank Robert for the seat time. You can check out his links in the description. And if you haven't watched the Ariel Adam video, that was insane too. So we'll see you guys soon.